Good evening, Frankmeisters. Welcome again to another episode of True Crime with Frankmeister. We're in the home stretch of the Delphi murder case, guys. Jury's got the case in their hands. So how's everybody doing this evening? Sorry, I'm a little lagged, tired. It's been a long 3 weeks, guys. So how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. I feel like today, the calm before the storm, but in my position or in my situation, I feel like I'm on pins and needles. Melissa Wildcard, it's good to see you. Hey, there's Mirror. Hey, there's Mirror. I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done since I've been up here in Monticello, and it's greatly appreciated. And like I said, thank you to you and your daughter, Heather, for looking out for me since I've been here. It's greatly appreciated. Tina Stair, good to see you. CJK, Kyra, good to see you. Purple Haze, Ziggy, what's going on? Olivia, what's going on, Frosty? It's good to see you, bro. Olivia, too. Oh, I already got you. Sorry. Jamie Hicks. Another Ange, what's going on, young lady? She Warrior. Roxy. Heather Marie, good to see you. 6-3 Clocks. Stacy, hung out with you and Hey, there's Mirror today with Blade. Got his ass out of the hotel room for the day. Tracy Christensen, good to see you. Ron Logan, what's going on, bud? Stephanie, GP. Sorry I didn't get back to you after I started the conversation earlier today, GP, but some things came up and I had to take care of some business when it comes to this case. So sorry about that. We'll talk about it later. Justice Angel, good to see you. Boss Mod, Jinx is in the house. Troll Shovels, good to see you. The Red Queen. Sharon Parker. You guys are filing in like there ain't no tomorrow. Trying to keep up. Susie. And this is another person I want to thank so much. I've known her since probably when my brothers were teenagers. She ran around with my brothers. She is one of the major donors to make sure I got up here to the Delphi trial. Thank you, Susie. Linda Harder. Grab it. What's going on, bud? I hope you're doing well, buddy. I know some shit went down again. You just got to ignore that crap, dude. This case is about over, so it should stop, bro. Joe Newman, good to see you. Pitbull Mom. Jinx, or Blade, stop doing that, please. Good, Bob. What's going on, bud? Mustang, good to see you. Mark Collins, Karen G. I'm going through the chat right now. I'm not missing nobody tonight. Sorry, guys. Tawny, it's good to see you. My phone's been blowing up all day. Oh, Lord. Come on. Don't start on me now. Come on, fucker. There we go. Beth Gonzalez. Move. Constantine. Clever alt name. Good to see you. We're doing well, Clever. Miranda Lee, good to see you. Robin B. Ziggy, good to see you, bud. Coach Kev's in the house. Robert. I'll get to that in a minute, Robert. We'll talk about that. Phil Bond, good to see you. Victor, good to see you. Sammy Day, that's a new name. True Crime Housewives, good to see you. Cecil Hotel, Annabelle. Yeah, I saw that today, Victor. I know I just missed the name. I seen it. Where did it go? Should have bought a damn mouse when I was at Walmart today. All right, I'm done with the chat. So how everybody doing today? So give me some thoughts on what you how the prosecution, from the information that you guys have been passed along over these last 3 weeks, how you think the prosecution did and how you think the defense did. Hey, Randy, if you want to come up, dude, send me your email to my phone and I will send you the link. Kristen will be here in a little while, guys. I talked to her earlier. Thought we'd just have a little chill, relaxed conversation tonight. You know, talk about things that have happened over the last 7.5 years, reflect on things, and talk about what we think the jury might do in this case, give me some opinions. As a matter of fact, I can't do it to my phone. I got to send it to his email. I know I got Randy's email. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. Randy just sent me his email. Okay, that's what I thought it was, Randy. Coming to you now, Randy. I didn't go to the courthouse today for the rest of the closing arguments and stuff like that because there's a fucking madhouse down there with all the media and idiots hollering and screaming at each other, stealing seats, switching chairs, and all that kind of crap. And I'm not in the mood for that kind of shit. Somebody liable to piss me off. I'm a fucking snap on somebody. It was nuts down there. I heard today, and it was definitely yesterday. There you go. I see some brains. Brian Emery, I haven't seen you in a while, bro. How you been? Delphi After Dawn, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. You know, I had a conversation with somebody today that's involved in the trial, and he asked me what I thought, and I said, look, dude, it was proved that he was BG, so otherwise he was BG and he killed the girls. I said, I believe he's guilty. I said, if the jury ain't got no common sense, just like Brian Emery said, you know, me and this person that's actually been testified in the case today, I told him, I said, look, I said, I could see a false confession maybe once or twice, 3 times at the most, but 61 of them with details of the crime, to me, that is unheard of. 61 confessions that were false. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. I agree with you there, Brian. And then placing himself at the crime scene or on the bridge and everything. We've all had this discussion before, guys. He was the only male out there. He puts himself on the bridge. And I don't know if any of y'all recall years ago when they asked, they knew that somebody was on the bridge, okay? And they asked the public's help, say, hey, we need to talk to the guy that was on the bridge. He's just a witness. Well, they found him, and he was cleared. They didn't know it was Richard Allen because the file had been stamped cleared and put away somewhere. But they did have him in their grasp back then. But somebody fucked up, and here we are. I don't know where Randy's at. I sent him the link. I mean, I would agree with you, the Red Queen. But Nick did drive it home. It was all when Cicero came back to testify after that FBI retired agent tried to claim that there was a headset plugged into the phone between 5:45 and 10:30 that night. And that's when Cicero came back and said, that can happen from the phone getting wet, the jack get wet, mud, blood, or anything getting into that jack. It can mess with the sensors inside the phone to make it think that there's a headset plugged into it. Hold on. No, he said send the link again. Second, guys. Let me make sure this is the right one. Give me a second. Nope. I see what happened. Randy, grab it. Okay. So I got to get that one out of there. Randy, grab it. At gmail.com. All right, it's coming now, Randy. You changed your email on me. There we go. Now back to you guys. From my understanding, it was driven home about the headphone thing when Cicero testified. And then Nick came and was basically debunking everything the FBI agent was saying. Going through the chat, see what everybody's talking about. Give me a second, guys. And by the way, I'll be at the courthouse by about 8:30 tomorrow morning. I'm not going in, but I'm grabbing me and Hater's Mirror, going to grab a couple chairs, and we're just going to sit out there and wait. And once there's a notification of something, I'm going live. What's going on, Mr. Gravitt?
Hey, not much. Doing pretty good.
Oh, that's good. Everything good on the homestead?
Yeah, I just had a long day over there at Kentland, Indiana.
Oh yeah. Oh, you were over there for was you over there for what's her name?
Yeah, Ashley Garth.
Yeah, yeah.
Sitting with
Ginger.
Ginger and them. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was interesting.
Oh yeah. So what do you think of that?
Well, at this point, what it is that Ashley Garth thought she had, her lawyer had new evidence, but technically they didn't have new evidence. So
Well,
now they try compare cases from here in Carroll County, cases in White County.
Case laws.
Yeah. And then bringing those cases into Newton County. Newton County is totally different from Nicole Bowman's case.
Right.
So he and then it's like all he talked about. We all heard like that white hat.
You see, the thing about this whole case with Nicole Bowen and Ashley Garth and Garrett Kurtz and Christopher Mathis, all them people in the state of Indiana, you might have not have laid a hand on that girl. Your DNA shows up at that crime scene, you're hit.
Well, like if you took a person to rob a bank and you're the getaway car, if
you're the driver and sit in the car, you're still just as culpable as the person that actually committed the robbery. Yes, that is correct. And I mean, I've already had my say on that case. DNA doesn't lie.
So right now, the state who the judge trying to get items that he wants to see on both sides.
Yeah, they got to do it. They got to have some type of argument within 10 days to the court.
Yeah.
And see, I know the creator that I know her personally that
case by case
put out a GoFundMe page to raise money for this attorney. She's a good person and all, but I already spoke my mind on the case to her because I know it pretty well from being in the Delphi community this long. And I said, look, I told her, I said, DNA is what got her hit. She was there when it happened. Yeah. Like I said, she might have not have did any of the physical attributes to Nicole herself. Her DNA, with her being there, like we said, the law in Indiana, if you're there, but you didn't was not a participant in it, you're still going to prison.
Yeah. And then, and she's trying to get out of her deal.
Her 43-year sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Me and JP have talked about this so many times, and I feel for her and her family, man, because you're just opening old wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And
JP says now we know how it feels, what the Delphi people are feeling, the families, like going through hell like this.
Exactly.
Over again.
And I feel for Nicole's family. I do. Let the woman rest in peace.
Mm-hmm. And let the family do move on.
Exactly. Accept your fate for your role, even though you're saying that you didn't physically do anything to her. But once again, the scarf or whatever it was that they used on her had, what's her name? Ashley's DNA on it. And that's all it takes. Yeah. So I hope the best comes for the family and they deny Ashley. And I hate to say that for anybody that's incarcerated, but you were there, accept your punishment, and it's all I can say.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like I asked the lawyer that was representing the family. I asked him, well, then all the questions that they needed was Garrett Kurtz should have been there. And that lawyer said, yeah, they should have had Garrett Kurtz asking these questions to him.
Hold on a second, Randy. Kristen's coming in.
Okay.
Hello, my friend.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you? Sorry I'm late.
You're fine. On pins and needles.
I know. I'm just like, oh my God.
You know.
I can't.
It's
My
supposed to be the
anxiety
calm
is
before the
like
storm,
through the
but to
roof.
me, it's like sitting on pins and needles.
Well, that's what me and Marv was talking about. We were listening to Carroll County Comment.
Oh yeah, the reporter. Yeah,
listen to her, and then Hidden Crime. Listening to her. And then we talked about what it's going to come out to. I said, well, if it was me, I can see 7 jurors. It could go both ways of yay or nay out of those 7 jurors of guilty or not guilty, or the odd rest of the 4 or 5 was left out of the 12. They could pick, okay, yeah, he's guilty. And then the other 7 jurors could stick with their answer. But I think it's going to be real tough. They're going through, and especially you have to go look at the board and see what they have to go over and learn all these last 3 weeks here.
but see I don't know if you noticed, Randy, but about a year ago in the state of Indiana, they changed the law. Okay. Yeah. And Judge Go explained this on Wednesday.
Okay.
The jurors are allowed to deliberate throughout this case.
Mm-hmm.
If all 16 of them are all sitting at a conference table, they're allowed to discuss everything, but they are not allowed to take the files, their notes, or anything from the courtroom, like I was explaining earlier.
Yeah.
They're allowed to. And that's why the word has been getting around. There's a possibility we could have a verdict by 2:00 tomorrow.
I would think same thing. I think Friday would be it. If they didn't get it done today,
they want to go home. I'm sure they're tired.
Oh yeah, especially
of course.
If they have the opportunity to get home on a Saturday to see their family for the first time, relax. Just don't worry about this anymore.
And by the way, everybody, I was supposed to check out tomorrow morning and go home, but I paid for an extra 2 nights here, so I would not miss the verdict because I feel that the verdict's coming down by Saturday, and that's why I'm staying. And I am not going in the courtroom tomorrow, guys. I'm going there about 8:30. I'm just going to sit in a chair, me and Hitter's Mirror, and just wait. Because I'm not fucking with none of them idiots up there fighting over a goddamn spot in line.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing that.
Well, Mel asked me, do you want to go over there? I said, no, not really. And she had to go to work anyhow. But I said, no, if whatever the answers we'll get, we'll get.
The people that are doing stuff against Marv, I just want to say this. She was instrumental in getting me a seat in the courtroom. And what I mean by that was that I had similar experience that Frank had just the other day. We were told, Barbara McDonald and I were told to go upstairs. We were the only 2 in line at the time. We were told during the break to go upstairs. They had seats. Barbara was like, well, I already have a seat being saved for me, which she did from Bob Mata. So I went in, and directly behind them was an open seat on the end. There was nobody's stuff there, nobody's stuff underneath of it. And I sat down. And this woman, and it was right behind Kathy Allen. This woman came in and she just lost it. That's my seat. That's my seat.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know there were names on them and, whatever. And as this is all transpiring, Marv is over behind the family on the other side of the courtroom. And she sees it and she sees it's me. And she gets up and comes over and grabs me and says, Kristen, come sit by me. There's an open seat. Had she not done that day, I don't know. I may not have gotten in.
I had a situation. What was it? Tuesday or Wednesday? We broke for lunch, and before they let us out of the courtroom to go to lunch, they have to remove Richard Allen and take him some part of the courthouse before they could release us to go to lunch. Well, I'm standing in line, and Bella, she was down there for one day. And me and her were talking in line, and I said, man, the defense just got their ass handed to him by Luttrell. And this woman had an audacity. She's parted with the family, look at me and say, excuse me, that's uncalled for. And everybody knows how I am. I'm very boisterous. I'm very opinionated. And I told this bitch, I said, fuck you, right in the courtroom. And I said, I'm going to say what the fuck I want to say when I want to say it. And she just looked at me and I said, yeah, you better fucking recognize. I said, I won't tolerate that shit from nobody. I don't care who you are. You show me respect, you'll get just as much respect or more from me. And a lot of you guys have known me through this community almost 4 years, and you know that. But if you test me, you're going to get burnt, period. So we're just here all together to reminisce on everything that's gone on for nearly 8 years now, and to just talk about things in this case and get opinions. And that's why I did a live tonight. So
yeah, you know, it's just these crazy people that have made us or tried to make a circus out of this proceeding up in Delphi. You know, this is exactly why Fran Gull did not allow cameras in the courtroom.
Exactly.
This is exact. If you guys are questioning why, you need to point the fingers at these idiots, because this is exactly why she did. She didn't want this to become a circus, and it has. You know,
I mean, me and Kristen, Randy, a lot of the good YouTubers are being fucked with by, we all know who, by 4 specific creators. You know, they talk all that shit behind a fucking camera, but when it comes to being in the same location, like myself, your ass don't even come near me, do you? Because you fucking know better.
It's because he's afraid of you.
I don't give a damn if he's afraid of me. And now you're going to talk all that
He's a bully.
Shit.
Bullies are, you know what, bullies are cowards.
You know, I've already had numerous people in this community say, we'll bail you out of jail. And I know somebody would, you know, but you could talk all that shit behind the camera. It doesn't affect me. But you come out there talking that shit.
They can make all the videos they want to about me. They can call me every name in the
I
book.
don't give a
I
fuck.
could care less. This isn't about me. They're trying to make it about me. I'm not letting them make it about me. This is about Abby and Libby, and this is about justice for them.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Hi, Randy. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to just forget you were there.
Well, like today over Ashley Garth, we couldn't bring our phones in. So.
Oh, yeah. You knew that she got an attorney, right, Kristen?
Ashley did?
Yeah. And guess who did it?
Oh, God.
That girl has been advocating for her. That was my administrator, my Facebook, and she created a channel, Case to Case.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She was there. She was there.
Really? She drove up from Ohio?
Yeah, she was there.
Wow.
There she is from Case to Case. Yeah, she was there with the family. Because she brought all the paperwork that she looked into, but the problem is the state says that this has already been in what happened from that case. Why he's bringing up all this? So basically, they're saying, no, you can't. Kind of like, no, she can't use this. He can't. The guys, they're
trying to bring in new evidence.
Yeah. And she said that's already this is not new evidence.
But like we said, Randy, the problem is with this case is Ashley was there when the murder was taking place.
Yep.
And her DNA is on one of the pieces of items they used to kill her.
Yeah, well, and that's why Nicole's mom and the rest of the family and were very upset.
Yeah. And that's why I wouldn't take part in that case with Case to Case. I told her, I said, I'll look through the files if you send them to me. I said, but 99% of the time, I'm going to reject it because of the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, DNA is what hung her out to dry.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, it's like a guy wants to go rob a fucking bank. He robs the bank and the driver sits out in the car. The driver is just as culpable as the guy that actually did the crime.
Yep. Sure is.
You know? So justice did his duty here in the state of Indiana, and I'm sorry to say, but they're going to get shot down again. I hate to say that.
And she should have thought it. if she wanted to be with her child, she should have thought of what.
She should have thought of that when she was hanging around Garrett Kurtz and doing the stuff that he wanted her to do.
Yep.
Mark Collins says the white man should seal it for anybody that doubted is guilty.
And like I said, once this case is done, everybody should be moved on instead of.
Well, you know that's not going to happen because the appeal's coming right after this if he gets convicted.
There's too much money on YouTube to be made with the people that are willing to watch the circus.
Mm-hmm.
There's just too many people that are willing to do that. But we do need to move on, and people need to start talking about Flora and Evansdale.
Right.
And
you know the case I'm getting ready to pick it back up on as soon as this one's over with. You know?
Yep.
But people, I was talking to some people out there today. I talked to Andrea Burkhart. I talked to Barbara McDonald. I mean, a few other people. And the censuses are, if he gets a hung jury, they're not going to retry it.
I don't think they will. I don't think they can afford to.
Well, I agree with you. But don't they get that money allotted from the state? That's my question.
But they get some allotted from the state, but not all. And the county I just don't think the county is willing to put out that money again and take the risk because, quite frankly, well, you know, I don't know though. Maybe they will. This is hugely important to Nick.
Yes.
Maybe they would. I guess I'm not 100% positive that what they would do, but my feeling is that they're not, if they can't try Richard Allen, if Richard Allen gets off, let's put it that way. If Richard Allen is found innocent, they will never be able to finish this or do anything with this case because the prosecution is going to state what they feel is he was the right guy.
Right.
They're not going to go open an investigation and start looking for anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing is, what judge is going to take the next case from Richard Allen if that comes being appealed? Who will be the judge?
That goes through the appellate court. They have their own judges.
Oh. Yeah, the appellate court. It won't be Gull. It'll be the appellate court judges. They have their own. But all I can tell you is that if the jury ends up hung or if they actually find him not guilty, if they find him not guilty, he'll be released right then and there.
Yep.
Well, then you'll have to find a very good place that nobody would know him. He surely won't be here in Indiana.
Hold on. I'm reading something that was put out. I got to keep quiet about it. I was just told to hush hush. Go ahead and go, guys. I'm going to read this.
So Marv wasn't at court today?
No. I talked to her.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she's fine. She was out. Andrea's doing laundry and stuff. I had a little talk with her about the situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I got told by someone when we were coming home that she had a urgent emergency last night. I got sad, but
anybody that thinks that Richard Allen is innocent should just, as soon as he's released, if found innocent, they just need to call him and say, "We got a job for you at our new daycare center."
Oh my God! But then again, I was thinking about this today, Kristen and Randy, and everybody that's listening to the chat. If he's found guilty, I've thought about this, the reward money. And this is honestly how I feel. Miss Kathy Shank deserves that reward money. Due to the fact it took her over 2 years and thousands and thousands and thousands of man hours to refile everything, to get it in chronicle order, whatever she had to do. And she found the tip.
Mm-hmm. I think
that's just how I feel. She did it voluntarily.
I think she once, like you said, she didn't know where that box came from, but all of a sudden there it was. Yes, I think she should get the reward.
I agree.
She's the one who started the ball rolling.
Yep. And she knew as soon as she seen it that it had to go to Tony Liggett. She knew as soon as she saw it.
Remember, Kristen, back at the very beginning. Remember when they broadcasted, we are looking for the gentleman that was on the bridge. Okay. We just want to talk to him. We're not considering him a suspect. He could be a witness.
I remember.
And they said they talked to him and they cleared him. They didn't literally talk to him. It was when Richard went to Dan Doolin and gave his information, and Dan Doolin passed it on, and somebody put cleared on it. He actually did not get talked to. They just automatically cleared him at the beginning.
Well,
they had him in his grasp back then. But the fuck up led us to where we're at today.
Well, the other thing, some of these states or countries don't understand how the DNR officer is. They're the highest officers in Indiana.
Yeah, they're federal.
Yeah, and they're above Indiana State Police. And these people don't understand. They can do arrest and question people. But these people don't think like, well, he's not an officer. Yes, he is. He's an officer of Indiana and any other state parks. They're officers.
Yeah, all natural resource officers are federal.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, when it comes to a hung jury, I would think the state would allot it, allot the money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that if Nick really wants to do it, did you guys already talk about the closing arguments at all?
No, I don't know exactly what happened in there today, but I heard that Nick was pushing the issue on a lot of things. And then I heard about Rosie getting up there and saying the government were snakes. And I said, really, dude? I said, you're working for the government right now. You're a fucking public defender. That's a fucking government agency.
Mm-hmm.
I read the account from WTHR and Wish 8's reporters that were in there, and they do their accounting of the closing argument. They've pretty much been doing a diary of each day. I've been posting it to my community page for folks to get an idea of what's happening. I really was a little disappointed, I have to tell you, in the state's closing. One of the questions that I have, and if anybody out there was there and knows, in the state of Indiana, when you do closing arguments, the state closes, then the defense closes, and the state can go back and do a rebuttal of the closing of the defense.
Yep.
I haven't heard if they did. They should have, based upon what I read.
He did.
But they haven't updated it if he did. And I want to know what that rebuttal was. What did he say to them? Because I'm here to tell you, some of the stuff that the defense put in their closing argument was just wild. And I really felt that he should have been able to address it.
This is a good point right here. But it's just me. Colts owner Jim Murr saying, and former punter Pat McAfee contributed most of the $250,000 reward.
Yep, they did.
Yeah.
And I contacted him at least 4 times to contribute to Flora.
Yeah.
Crickets.
No, not necessarily. That is not true, Jennifer Reynolds. That is not necessarily true. She could reassign new public defenders because these guys they got law firms. They've got cases that they got to do outside of the public.
Oh, I don't see them being the defense attorneys.
Me either. Me either.
If it has to go back to court, he'll have new attorneys.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he gets to these attorneys, then he will have to come out of his pocket. And Rich Allen still wouldn't be able to afford.
And then I heard somebody talking about that, some shit the other day, talking about it's basically ruined their marriage. Kathy, they lost her home. No, they did not lose their home. Kathy sold it.
I was just going to say she had to sell it.
Yeah. I can't.
And seeing shit like
how much
that
it was, but
that gets out there and people are jumping all over it. Oh, she had to. She lost her home. Get the facts right.
no, she sold that house, and I think they still have another property still they own.
You know, I think it'd be a lot cheaper if they was to do a bench trial. Honestly, I do.
I thought that was.
Oh, absolutely, and it would be easier.
Yeah.
And that's what
But
happened.
they were like, we're not doing a bench trial in front of Judge Gold.
If it gets retried, it probably won't be in front of her.
No, it
They
won't.
will
I'm
reassign
sure.
a new judge. It'll be a whole new thing. The only thing that would be the same would be Nick.
I think he needs to get a special prosecutor, honestly. I do.
I wish they would have done that in the beginning, but
Right.
Nothing
against Nick McClellan.
nothing against him at all. I think he's absolutely done a fantastic job.
But he was way over his feet at the beginning. And we all know that.
Mel said today when we were coming back, she dropped me off, taking me back home. She says, well, hopefully it's not Shane Evans would take the case. I said, well, I hope not either.
Oh, yeah.
God, no, he's not a special prosecutor.
No,
the judge.
They would bring in a special prosecutor from another county is what they would do.
Have Shane Evans take over the case of Richard Allen again. No. I said, well, I hope not.
You know, and then like I was telling you, you weren't on here yet, Krista, I don't think. I went and talked to one of our friends who was actually testified in the trial today. I saw him outside and he said, Frank, what's going on? He said, what do you think? I said, he's guilty of sin, dude. I said, just the confessions alone. I said, I'm sure you agree with me. 1 or 2 confessions could be false confessions, but 61 of them, 99%, it's not false. I mean, I should have did some research on that before I came live, but when have you ever heard of 61 confessions all being false from one person?
When do you ever hear of 61 confessions, first of all?
Right. You know, I'm just like, they're trying to pull wool over people's eyes, and, you know, they think just because they're attorneys, a lot of people are dumber than they are.
Oh, didn't that one psych doctor said he wasn't even under the influence of the medicine that sometimes, and when he confessed,
and then he threatened a correctional officer over at Cass County. He was starting to show his true colors, and I saw it Wednesday or yesterday, yes, for my own eyes, the evil in his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And it was because Richard's family sitting right there in the front row, and here comes Bob Mono walking in. And as soon as Bob walked in, he leaned over to Kathy, was rubbing on her shoulders, and I just happened to look right over at Richard Allen. That motherfucker had to look at kill. I've seen jealousy. You know, I've seen it all. I was like, damn. I said, look at that.
I could see him flying over that railing right at Bob Ma if he's that angry.
Yeah, you could see it. I said, damn. You know, all the other times you see this mopey look on his face, you know, at the very beginning when we started having the hearings, all the times that I've seen, you could see he had taken something to keep him calm. His eyes were all big and bug-eyed and shit. You don't see that now because they don't have him on medication, or they might, but not the shit they had back in Westville and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not like he was when he was coming to court looking like he was drugged.
Right.
He was coming to court looking drugged, you know?
Yeah. And I really got to see another side of him when I seen that. And then to hear about him threatening a correctional officer over at Cass County. I mean, that instance there and the look that I saw on his face and in his eyes told me he was capable of killing somebody.
Yeah. Well, you have to also remember, you guys, that Richard Allen doesn't have to prove he's innocent. So just keep remembering that when you think about what the defense didn't say or didn't prove or whatever. They don't have to prove anything.
Oh,
Joe Newman lives here in Indianapolis, and he asked me, and Kristen, if this case was in Marion County, Indiana, it would have been case closed years ago. Well, it would have. It would have. You had seasoned homicide detectives from Marion County.
I was just going to say they have tons of homicides there. This is not.
But they still use the same crime lab, the state crime lab. That's the only difference, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Joe. If this case was in Indianapolis, it would have been solved. Well,
I thought it was quite interesting that the defense had Kathy Allen on their witness list and didn't call her. I think that as the trial progressed and they watched, I think they realized that if they put her on the stand, that she would have been eaten alive by the prosecution.
I can see it because Becky's waiting, the whole entire panel waiting to see what she says.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying, I think that they realized we can't put her on the stand because once we do, we open the door for them to be, they could have asked a lot of things and talked about a lot of things that they did not want talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, we noticed she doesn't have to testify to the marriage and relationship between her husband. She could refuse that.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I'm surprised they didn't get her up there to ask her, is that you on the phone? Is that Richard that called you? I'm surprised they didn't do all that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think it would have been interesting to put her on the stand and have Nick look at her and say, did Richard Allen tell you that he was on the bridge that day?
Yeah, that'd be a shocking for her. She saying she couldn't believe it, but she
said no. She would have to say no because she's on video asking him why you didn't tell me.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? But to hear her in open court say that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And hearing her, you know, I still say how shocked she was about how did your bullet get between those girls?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And those two questions from her are huge.
He's the only one allowed to hold his own gun. That's the problem. He's the only one allowed to.
I saw a post today. Somebody say, well, when they found that other bullet in the keepsake box at home, did they test that bullet? Why would they test a bullet that was a souvenir that probably never was put in a magazine?
Yeah.
And where it came from.
Or is never put in the weapon itself.
Yeah, where that bullet came from, it won't match his guns.
You know, so I just see some of these stupid ass questions. I mean, common sense tells you. They probably did look at that round out of keepsakes, and I'm pretty positive they did. To compare it to the one they found to see if it was the same caliber, if it was the same manufacturer, you know, and they probably checked to see if that round had ever been in the chamber of that weapon.
Oh,
you know,
especially if they say they look at everybody else's weapons and it didn't match that particular bullet.
And then you get all this shit about Brad Weber.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I heard people say, well, he's the one who helped kill the girls. Like, no, how could he help? He had alibi.
Yeah, his time card proved everything.
Shane, the defense can lie about so much. They don't have to. I told you guys, I warned you before the trial started to listen to what the defense said in opening statements and make, you can kind of write it down and point it out and look to see if they go back after the trial. Did they cover everything that they talked about in opening statements? A lot of times they don't. A lot of times they will bring up things they never circle back to and talk about because they don't have to. Again, the defense doesn't have to prove anything. They have to be careful about what they do say, though, because just like we found out, she wasn't going to allow them to talk about third-party suspects or about Odinism or about whatever because there was no nexus. yesterday, Frank. Yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Baldwin was still trying to talk about the Elvis
Elvis
Fields.
Fields. It was Elvis Fields. Yeah. When she excused the jury for the day, anytime they do that in court, they excuse the jury for the day, the judge will ask both attorneys, is there anything you want to discuss before I go to recess till tomorrow? And that's when fucking Baldwin got up, and as soon as it came out of his mouth, she said, we've talked about this 1,000 times. Like you said, you ain't got no evidence and you don't have no nexus.
Well, that's what me and Mel was talking about. That how Elvis Phil says he spit on the girls, but his DNA, there's no spit DNA on those girls.
Squeaky wheel. He was trying to confess. He wanted to confess, but I believe Rosie and Baldwin talked him out of it. That's my opinion. To see if they can win this case to promote their names in their law firms. Mm-hmm. Get the book deals and all that.
A movie. I can see him doing that, getting a movie and a book.
There's going to be a movie. There's going to be books. There's going to be, and there'll be a line of people. Mm-hmm. A line of YouTubers, a line of people that want to be involved in it.
If there's a movie, they need to find the right people to be in, not the wrong people.
CJK says time for change when it comes to taxpayer funded attorneys. When defendants have assets, got to look at tax returns and more. And hell, they just got what, $250,000 for that house?
I think so.
And if you guys ever look at the case, my case file online, and if you scroll to the very bottom, the court is charging Richard Allen certain fees. You'll see it at the bottom of the thing. And the state don't have to pay for it. It's Richard Allen does. I'm trying to get through these.
Is it the Delphi After Dark movie? That's a good one.
People Hotel says, Kathy A is no beauty. If anyone is making a move on her, it's for a forthcoming book. Good grief, Mata and Snay interested in her.
Well,
I wouldn't say Mata is because he's married.
Snay's getting real tight with.
Snay's married too, but I see him as a dirtbag when it comes to a husband doing that kind of crap. I hate to use his name like that, but this case is about over. It's time to call his ass out. And then somebody sent me a message a little while ago, and I got to read this for you guys.
I'm sorry, but nobody knows what if people are happily married or not. I'm not getting mad at anybody by saying that. I'm just saying you don't know if he's happily married just because
right,
he's married.
Exactly.
Just because he's married doesn't mean he's happy. Sorry, guys.
Especially if they're already at the courthouse, could follow.
And I guess some of these stooges that have been fucking with people out there, I got a message from somebody that she forwarded what they were saying. They're saying they will fight anyone in line tomorrow, and I think Snay will be back. Yeah, I'm like, you ain't fighting shit.
There's too many police out there on that ground, so.
And I will be carrying my gun tomorrow just to sit outside.
Be like the same thing in Allen County. You see all these police officers are coming out the door like running, if there was.
Yeah, Delphi, that's what we were talking about earlier, Delphi After Dawn. We are surprised. There was only a total of 80 witnesses called in this case, and there was 200 listed.
And half that.
And that's what's kind of crazy when you really stop and think about it. Although Nick said that he could, I think he said 60. Didn't he say 60 witnesses?
He said he can cut his witness list down up in Allen County to he can cut it down to about 50.
Yeah. And he was pretty close. He was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened with the defense. I mean, obviously they wanted to call all these people about Odin people, but I still don't see where they would have had the amount of witnesses that they wanted.
Patrick called me this evening too.
What'd he have to say?
He's pretty shitty. He wants the Odin report and the lie detector test. And I said, you can't have that yet, dude. I said, the case is not over with. And I said, if there's a hung jury, you definitely won't get it then.
Right.
I said, just be patient, dude. I said, I'll talk to somebody tomorrow and see what I can do to get that stuff for you. He said, where in the hell did that goddamn Odin report originate from? I said, it came out of Rushville because of Elvis Fields.
Yep.
And his ties to Brad Holder, Johnny Messer, and all of them.
All because
And he said, well, then how did they get my name? I said, dude, what they do is they go through social media, look at all their friends, and find it to see if there's a connection between you two with this Odinist crap.
All because of Click, Officer Click.
Exactly. I said, it's pretty easy to figure out how they get this information, guy. I told him, I said, if you ever need anything, just get a hold of me. Exactly. I like this comment. I can't read the name. Miracle Hearts 2. The only thing I can give RA credit for is that he honestly tried very hard to come clean to his family.
Yep. And they wouldn't listen to him.
Nope. Because they were trying to use the mental illness crap. The defense team got to Kathy, Janice, that whole family, and Richard Allen. They used the mental thing to try to say that mental illness caused him to do all this. When, to me, from what I heard, I mean, just like when we had closing argument or when they ended their case. I mean, it was 9 o'clock in the morning, and judge says, "Are you ready to proceed?" And Rosie said, "Yes." And she said, "Go ahead." And he just stood up and said, "Defense rest." And everybody just looked at each other like, well, what? You guys requested an extra 2 weeks for a trial, and you didn't even use up all the time? What the hell? You know?
Yeah.
So they know he's guilty, and we've all had this discussion before. They know for a fact that he's guilty, and that's why they've been setting up everything for an appeal. That's just my honest opinion. What about you, Kristen and Randy?
I think because they were going to have an appeal, I think he already got told from his lawyers, like, hey, let them say you're guilty, and then we'll be able to appeal this.
Yeah, but then again, on the flip side of that, I think Rosie and Baldwin didn't want to. They really tried to win this case to promote their names. That's one of my opinions. They didn't want Richard Allen confessing.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
You're all right over there, Kristen?
Yeah, I'm just looking at a spider. Sorry.
Oh, my goodness. Here we go.
Coming out of the box already?
Huh?
Your animal's already coming out of the box?
No, he's not coming out of the box, but I'm looking at him for a second.
Yes, KCL, you're correct. They were trying to implicate Brad Weber on the stand. They sure were.
There's already some other YouTubers on the other side of us that are saying, yeah, he's the killer. Like, no.
He's not Bridge Guy. I'm telling you that right now. Brad Weber is way too tall for Bridge Guy.
They're only doing all these conspiracies already after.
And Brad Weber has a speech impairment too. You got to remember that.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just leave him over there, okay?
I just had to make sure he was. I just had to make sure he was.
I can deal with daddy long legs and shit like that, but when you get to tarantulas and fucking spiders that are jumping every damn where, no.
Oh, the jumping spiders are sweet.
I don't want to hear that.
They are so sweet.
You know the banana spiders, right? The big yellow ones you'll see in trees. The big banana spiders. Those freak me the hell out.
Oh no. Those are beautiful.
He told me thank you for showing the map I did earlier. Oh, you had Gray Hughes on last night or the other night with the map, and they asked me to
last night.
Put the map I said, sure, I can do that because I did the same thing, showing people how he escaped and where he was at and zoomed in. And that's why Gibble said, well, you did a good job tonight, what I did.
Squeaky wheel. You best believe that Bada is making bank on his channel. You best believe he is. And then with Allie on him.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, if Andrea Burkhart's making $4,000 alive, Bob's right up there with her. He's got all the people viewing as well, and then he's on all these talk shows.
Well, and especially Bob on his wife too, the same way.
You know, I introduced myself to Andrea today.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't think we've introduced ourselves yet. And I said, I'm Frank. She said, oh no, I know you're Frank. And I try to pick her brain a little bit, but she was being a defense attorney.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
glad
the spiders are super cute.
And I'm glad they quashed the subpoena on Robert Ives.
Yeah, that
was ridiculous. I don't really know what they were hoping to gain by that.
They
anyway.
wanted him to come in and talk about the.
My God, he hasn't been a part of the case
since. He's the one who said about Odinism.
The what's that word they use for religion that they were using for this? I can't remember the name.
Oh, you mean what was the word for what?
The religion. So it's a when you go to a crime scene, huh? I forget the name that they were using.
Oh, they were saying that there was he said that there were
it wasn't the signatures, it was something they used.
No, it's
a word they use for religion. Non-secular,
yeah.
Yeah. They wanted him to come up there and put that on the record. That's what that was about. And then they were going to try to use that non-secular religion thing and to try to tie the Odinism to it.
Yeah, and that's why they wanted him up there because he said that.
Yeah, you're right, Mustang. You're not going to convince me that Baldwin did not set that up to leak those photos.
He had to.
Oh, I agree.
You're not going to tell me any different.
Like he got away with it though.
As a matter of fact, you all know I'm in the middle of a lawsuit right now, and I talked to my attorney about this because he kind of follows it. And he said, I have never heard of an attorney leaving crime scene photos all laid out over a table in a conference room. He said, I've never heard of that.
You wouldn't take
especially in a case that's so high profile that's got a gag order on it.
With the magnitude of this case.
And he's got 50 years experience in law. Give me a break, you guys.
If I was an attorney, I would not let anybody in that room, especially lock the door, and if there's blinds or something, I would close them. Make sure
and the sign that told me that it was set up by Baldwin is when Westerman appeared in court with an attorney from Baldwin's law firm.
Well, he was his friend.
No, I'm talking about the attorney from the law firm represented Westerman.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying Westerman was his friend.
Right.
Right? They were, I mean, they were friends. He worked for him, but they did stuff together.
Yep.
Like outside of work.
When I found out about that, I said, oh yeah. That's what convinced me that Baldwin was in the middle of that. Why you supplying an attorney for him when he about got your ass busted?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's going to be, I'm sure, I've seen it in murder cases before, restitution.
Lucy Von Pelt 710 said, totally set up. Been a paralegal for years. No one does that.
Right. I've never heard of it. Ever. Delphi After Dawn says inmates make about 20 cents an hour, so he will be working till he passes away to pay off the fines. Well, you're correct. And if there's restitution that has to be paid, that's going to come out of his fucking work pay at the prison if he ever works in a prison. I can't say I have to be, what's the word? I'm being too optimistic because I believe he's going to be found guilty. But then again, I have to put this out there. He could be found not guilty or a hung jury. I got to be biased here, you know?
Well, I think most people have said it might be a hung jury more than anything else.
I mean, like I said, man, if the jury has any common sense.
I don't think they'll find him not guilty. I can't imagine him having 12 people that would agree with that.
Exactly. I think it's impossible that a not guilty verdict's coming. It will ever happen. There's 2 verdicts that will happen in this case, and it's going to be guilty or a hung jury. One of the 2.
Well, the other thing, what do they have to do on those questionnaires of giving to them the choices of what levels of guilty or not guilty on charges?
Right.
Yeah. And like, you know, I've said this, you know, over and over again, and those who watch know, but it honest to God doesn't matter what his mental status is now. His mental status is important on February 13th, 2017. And what was that mental status? And I don't believe that he was psychotic. I don't believe that he was having any psychosis at all.
I mean, Dr. Wallace said it perfectly. She believes he was faking it all.
Oh, I absolutely do because after seeing him and watching him in court all day.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm sorry, but you know, I just don't think that somebody's going to come in and out of that psychosis that they're trying to say he had. Now, depression, sure. Anxiety, sure. I can see all of those things. And that I can deal with, but I don't believe that he's got psychosis. I don't
either. I don't believe it either.
I don't believe it for a minute.
3 different doctors almost saying the same thing. What they saw in Richard Allen. It's like,
I mean, everybody's got to remember his very first confession was November of 2022, and he was just perfectly fine then.
Yep.
Think about it. And the next one
he had access to the phone. He made over 700 phone calls.
Yep.
He was able to watch television. He was able to do all kinds of stuff. I mean, read, you know, I mean, to me, solitary confinement is solitary confinement.
There's a difference.
You don't get access to all that stuff.
There is a big difference between safekeeping and solitary confinement. Solitary confinement, you don't get the luxuries of having an iPad or a TV. Because they asked him if he wanted a TV and he refused. Yeah. You don't get those luxuries when you're in solitary confinement.
He almost didn't get his iPad back because he broke it.
He got a new one.
Threw it against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got another one.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Like Warren said, it's a 300 something iPad.
But you know, if I was in his position, I would do anything possible to keep my mind as clear as much as possible. TV, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I would, if you keep me calm, cool, and watch TV or playing games, yeah.
But I do have the list of all the confession dates. And I went through them all and I said, yep, stop. This is when he got his discovery, and all of a sudden he's going cuckoo. You know, and I was just like, yeah, that's a classic sign of faking to me. All of a sudden you see what they got on your ass and you're freaking out.
Yeah, he goes to other people and then he goes back to his cell and he starts acting up.
Yeah, and then he was eating fucking poster paper or stickum paper in the court the other day. I think that was a plan too.
Oh, I'm sure it was, hoping that the jury would see him eating paper.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So he can get out on a psych ward thing. I'm like, see, look, he's crazy. He's eating paper.
Yep.
Jones says that they have to retry him because the whole nation is watching. It would indicate that they didn't have hold on a second. It would indicate that they, where did it go?
Who had the question?
Joan said in the chat that they would have to retry him. And I lost what she was saying.
Okay,
it went
well,
off.
They have to retry him. The nation's eyes are upon them. It would indicate they don't believe their own case.
Right. I agree with that. The nation's eyes are on them. They are being watched.
But Delphi does not want that.
No.
And they don't.
They don't. They don't want their little community in the public eye like this. Trust me, I've talked to some of the community people, some of the people in the community for over the years that I've been there. I go to the Office Depot, and prime example, we were at a hearing up there one day, and me and Jinx decided to go over to the Office Depot just to grab something to drink. And Jinx was putting out whatever she was doing with paperwork or whatever on her phone. And I walked up to the bar and I said, I need a diet drink, whatever you got. And Jinx wanted a glass of water. And everybody at the bar, older folk, was just looking at me. And then I said, yeah, a new face, all right? And they said, yep. Well, I said, well, I've been coming here for nearly 3 years. I said, I've been following the Delphi case. And they said, oh. You know, that's what they did. Oh, you know, so I've seen it firsthand that they don't want this in their community.
They want to get all done in all that town. They're done with it.
They're tired of it. They are tired of people coming in, the outsiders coming in, you know, all of it. They are tired of it.
They want.
I mean, instead of their community being notarized for their trails and historic stuff in that community,
and their Bacon Fest.
And man, I'm telling you what, I got it to talking to a matter of fact, it was Julie Melvin's daughter and her boyfriend, like at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning yesterday, and we were talking about it. And he didn't know anything about the Bacon Fest. I said, dude, they had Lou Graham from Foreigner play this year. He said, really? And I said, yeah, dude, it was a great time.
Well, I'm surprised he has, because we know around here about Bacon Fest for years.
And he's from up in up north. They have the popcorn. Where's Redenbacher from?
Redenbacher's here from Indiana.
Oh, he's up north somewhere, Valparaiso.
Yeah.
They have a popcorn fest up there every year in his name, because that's where he's from.
And we sell some his Redenbacher popcorn here in my town.
Right. You know, people are probably thinking, well, why are you talking to them? I said, man, I don't know the kid and Julie's daughter. You know, I don't have a beef with them whatsoever. I'll leave them out of it. You know, I try to socialize with everybody, not to hold anything against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-mm.
Teddy said Lou Graham's from his neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, Teddy, good to see you.
Joe says, I think I already went to the bridge to harm himself. He was washed, depressed, on pills, saw opportunity, then chickened out on harming himself. I honestly don't think so. I think something made him snap and went over the edge, because now it's being said during the trial that he was stalking. He was waiting in the shadows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And after they told,
I think he was trying to live out a fantasy.
Yeah. I'm not saying he necessarily was intending to kill them from that point. Like you said, he was living a fantasy for some sexual gratification.
Yep.
And it went awry.
Everything went sideways when Brad Weber showed up.
Right. And I still firmly believe that he was unmasked somehow. You know what's so funny though, is the bridge guy photo, he doesn't have a mask on.
No, he don't. He don't have a mask on.
So they had already seen his face at that point.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
And I do. I mean, there's a part of me that wonders if they recognized him.
Right.
Because you
What-
know
it's
that they
been-
went into CVS.
yeah,
You know
because
they
Becky
did.
always said they would go up there.
Right. And so, I mean, you just know that they were in there. They had to have recognized that that's who that was.
On that bridge. He had no mask on.
That's what I'm saying.
And if I saw him and said, "Yeah, I know you, dude. Like you're hiding, but
It was like today.
I
was
still,
like today. I was out at the courthouse, and there was this lady. I said, "Man, I know you." She said, "I'm bossy." I said, "Oh, that's right."
Teddy says, I want to know why that day, but I absolutely think he wanted to do what he said he was going to do, and that's it. I often and have still said to me that Valentine's Day was significant. I really still believe that.
Well, something happened on Valentine's Day.
But see, we don't know with 100% certainty that he was out there strictly targeting Libby and Abby.
He had the materials to do
what he could do to the first person or whatever he can get his hands on.
Yeah, that's still be first-degree murder, though.
Delphi After Dawn has a great point. Remember when Tobe said in that interview that he had heard the voice before?
Yeah.
He was right.
CVS.
He probably got his scripts filled at CVS. Yeah, absolutely.
And he wasn't that far from the jail.
He what?
He wasn't that far from the jail.
Right.
Oh, and I got word while I was at the courthouse from our friend, not the male friend, but the one that from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
She told me that she got word that they were going to make them all take their chairs down.
When?
I would imagine probably tomorrow. That's what I was told. I'm not certain that it's going to happen, but that's what I told. And she's pretty good with her information.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So they can't sit on a sidewalk down.
And so they don't. Well, it's just going to cause more fucking chaos because ABC affiliate in Indianapolis, WRTV. I know the reporter, the female, and she was sitting down on the thing there, and she said, "Man, I'm in a pissed off mood." And I said, "What's going on?" She said, "Because she's part of the media pool."
Yeah.
And she won't get another pass until next week if the trial continues. And she said, if these motherfuckers here all lined up like this think they're going to try to get into that courtroom before I do, I'm a licensed journalist, I will take off running to get to the front of the line. Yep, she sure did. And I don't blame her. She's young and she's trying to make a name for herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see a cat fight going on.
And that's why I just said I wasn't going this morning. I said, I'm not dealing with that shit because I know myself. If somebody smarts off of me, I'm liable to bitch slap them. Not a woman. You know what I'm talking about, guys.
I do.
If you would have been there.
I do. And, that's the thing. I mean, I was like, that's why I didn't really become unhinged and crazy Kristen on that Saturday when I saw the group of protesters on that sidewalk. There was a part of me that wanted to just go the hell off, but I just walked over there and just took their pictures because I thought that was the best thing that I could do is get their faces and get their pictures because I was like, it's just shameful.
You know that I have not figured out yet on a laptop how to share my StreamYard link.
What?
I haven't. I was trying to figure it out earlier before we went live.
Oh my God.
So now I got to share my link to somebody. So, because Teddy wants to come up.
Oh, good.
Give me a second.
I love Teddy.
What is going on with my phone?
But yeah, I just, I did call out Andrea Burkhart. I feel that I had every right to do that. if I had ran into Rick Snay or Julie Melvin, I don't know what would have happened.
I know what it is. I can't send you the link from my phone while I'm live on my phone.
Mevin says Julie Melvin registered a safety hazard complaint with the city, is what they heard.
Can I send a link to him?
Jinx, send me your email.
All I kept telling myself was, Kristen, it's about Abby and Libby. It's not about you, and it's not about these idiots. Don't get in the fray. And that's why I was on my best behavior.
And I got another message. Put my Cash App up.
I told one person, there was a lady had a Libby Abby signed for supporting. I said, well, those people who support Richard Allen, if they're really supporting Libby Abby, also they should have a sign that says Libby Abby. We support Libby Abby instead of just Richard Allen sign.
Exactly. This case is about them. And that's what this is about. We wouldn't even be here if it hadn't been for the two girls losing their lives. It's all about them. But the sad thing is, in this country, when the suspect makes it into the court system, it's no longer about the victims.
Give me a second. I got to
all
share.
About him or her, whoever that may be.
Well, especially he's the victim, but really he's not the victim.
No, he's not.
You guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Give me just a second, guys.
Is Turbo still in town?
No.
She did go home?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I saw that she was there.
Somebody asked me about Tom. I said, well, no, Tom went back.
I knew Tom went back. I said goodbye to him.
It's too bad he couldn't stay longer to find out.
Jinx, check your email. It's coming right now.
Sidewalk.
All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that.
What's this CJK? Oh, about the sidewalk. She is rumored to pay $50 for a sitter.
They're talking about Julie.
Oh.
It's like $50 an hour.
Really?
Did I tell you about Noe and Rainbow Bright being up at the doghouse last night?
Yeah, Aspen's still there. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? I ran into Tara today, and I said, "Girl, you are crazy." I said, "You threw them straight out." She said, "I had to be I don't want to use the word a C first." Yep. I said, "Oh, damn." Come on. Here we go. When I get to the bottom down here, it's so hard to scroll down. Rainbow Bright. She had like purplish, multicolored hair at one point in time, and is Kathy Allen's best friend. She lives in California, but she's in town for the trial.
Oh.
She's a very strange woman. That's all I can say.
Any other problems with that one lady who yelled at you for listening to your conversation?
And like show me some integrity, said former stripper who attached herself to KA.
What?
That's what show some integrity said to Red Queen.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well, she was a stripper. She admitted it on Rick Snay's show. She's been in jail, worked in the prisons, with what she says. I believe she was in prison.
That little woman?
Yeah.
That little woman.
Yeah, the one that was sitting with Kathy. You seen her in court?
I know. I was there. I know.
She came outside and was smoking a cigarette, and she just looked at me. I said, "Yeah, you know who I am." She said, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm fine. How about yourself?" And that's the extent I do with these people like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to hold a conversation with you. I'll be cordial and say hi, how are you, and that's it. Just like I did with Andrea Burkhart today.
I don't think Kathy's still in Delphi.
No, she's not. Nope. And that's the thing. If he was acquitted, he's going to be looking out behind his back the rest of his life. He's going to grow a third eye on the back of his head. You know.
Mhm.
So what else can we talk about, guys? Well, don't we all just jump at once?
Where's
I don't know.
Teddy? I thought he was coming up.
Who?
He's supposed to be.
Where's
Teddy,
Teddy? Where are you, Teddy?
where are you?
He's probably had the same problem.
I sent the link to Jinx.
Probably the same problem I had. He asked me to fill out something out. You agreed to the terms for streaming. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The new terms are coming up with.
Teddy said, I'm coming. Hold up.
Oh, is he coming?
Yeah, he said, I'm coming. Hold up.
Said he's working on it.
He's probably the same
He's
way.
working on
When you're
it.
having a problem like I did, Terry, Teddy won't let me do where I need to go to.
Oh, old age. Damn. When your neck, well, I've got that cervical injury to my neck, and my traps hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Is that him?
Who's this? No, Jinx. Hold your britches. He's working on it. I don't use a typewriter. Oh, you guys are over there in Europe. A typewriter. It is a thick pad. Is what I use. I got to get a mouse for this thing. I don't like using the little thing on the thing that moves the cursor.
I think I got some mouses I can find and give it to you. I know exactly.
Then I would be able to share the link if I had that, because I haven't figured out how to share the link with this little thing you use with your finger.
Yeah,
I haven't figured it out yet.
You should just stroll over to or you'd need to, but yeah,
Well, yeah, but once I copy it, the link, I don't know how to paste it.
Yeah, I'll see about the mouse and give it to you so you can use it.
Badass American says, I worked at a restaurant when younger with all women. They told me I should be a male stripper. Said I'm not gay. Oh my goodness. Y'all coming up with some crazy ones tonight. Come on, you little
What happened?
Where'd he go?
That's what he said. What happened to him? It was there.
Well, Randy, it's just you and me.
You and me. All right. I guess anybody don't. Well, since I went to Ashley Garth's trial, she had. There you are.
What are you doing?
Trying to fuck with his laptop.
Well, you disappeared.
Huh?
You disappeared.
I know. I accidentally exited out.
It's like,
I did that. I used to do that all the time with my Magic Mouse, my Apple one.
Oh my goodness. Ancient here. We didn't have this shit growing up. Bye, Frank.
What did she say?
Bye,
Jinx
CJK.
just sent me what?
Huh?
Hang on, Jinx. Let me read it. I saw that it popped up. Just a minute, honey. Can you copy the link Frank sent you? Because he sent me some support link. Oh, yeah. Just a second.
What? I sent her the.
What'd she get?
I don't know, but I'm going to send it to her. Just give me a minute, guys.
Hey, Anthony, how you doing?
It said support.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's one. Yeah, I think that's what came to me first because you were trying to send me the link. I had to answer the question to make sure. Yeah, you agreed to the terms.
I get it to her. She got the link, so if she gives it to Teddy, he should be here.
All right. I don't know what the hell happened.
I don't know what happened. I don't know how you got some support. Oh, it was the link at the very bottom of the email. There's another link.
No, you're wrong there, Saint. I'm not that fucking old. I don't have a schedule like fucking old man Biden does.
Well, at this point,
sorry, Kristen.
At this point, the world's oldest president is Carter, and he made it through the election.
Well, didn't he just turn 100 years old?
Yep. He wanted to make it through the election now, and he can move on with his life now.
Hey, Red Queen. It's hard to upgrade on a laptop when you live off Social Security.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad he made it up to 100. If he can just pass by. He wanted to make it to vote, and he did.
God damn it.
He will be the...
Shane said, we're the only channel out of the 260 lives happening right now that are having a laugh and are not fighting.
And that's the way I like my channel.
Yeah, no channel.
I don't want none of that damn drama in my shit.
Yeah, no,
because it'll make the channel look bad.
Arguing, fighting, make up crap that's not even true, add things to the case. Like, no. And this is what those people are doing. Adding things to this case, Olivia's case, and it has nothing to do with it.
No.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah,
and I ordered some Chinese tonight too. Ouch.
So April the 5th at 1 p.m. we'll have a walk.
Who? What?
April the 5th, we're having a walk for Libby Abbey.
Okay, on April 5th?
Yeah, at 1 p.m.
I got to write that down.
We got a Florida walk coming up in a couple weeks.
On the 17th at 4 p.m. on the 17th for the Florida walk.
Where's that going to be, in Florida?
Florida, yeah.
You said April 5th?
5th at 1 p.m., yeah.
And I hope all you guys out there in the YouTube world, if there's a guilty verdict on this case, I hope you guys stick around, because we still have events for the Delphi girls and events for the Florida girls, And when this case is over with and finally come to a conclusion, there's Teddy.
Oh, Teddy made it.
What the hell is going on, people?
What's going on, Teddy?
Finally made it.
Oh, just hanging out.
Cool.
Having a casual conversation, on no arguing, no bickering.
Well, that's not good. You need some bickering. Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. A little frustrated with people, but otherwise not too bad.
Nah, I totally understand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people suck.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Certainly do.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? Beat your ass?
I'm so over the hate. I could absolutely. I'm just over hate. I'm over people acting like they act. I'm just over it.
What, like 5-year-olds?
Yes. I'm tired of dealing with toddlers.
Imagine that as a grown woman, you'd be mad about people acting like they're 5 when they're 60.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my God. Oh my God.
They're still living in that childish lifestyle. They think they're still 20.
Yeah.
Even if they were, it wouldn't matter.
Right.
They're still in high school they're still be bullies. They feel like they're still in high school and have to bully people.
Well, that's because they got their asses kicked in high school and they're still mad about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. You see some of these creators that are fighting amongst each other. Two of them in particular, they've both been at Delphi. One says, I'll kill you. One says, I'll beat your ass. Well, they end up meeting up at the bridge and smoking out and talking.
Frank, a chest bump is not fighting.
Yeah.
Well, you know where I stand on that, Teddy. You come up looking, trying to belly bump me or chest bump me and get nose to me, I'm swinging on your ass. Period.
I would swing on you regardless, but depending on the situation and the place I'm at, I'm not going to cause problems.
Michelle Sawa, thank you for the donation. It's much appreciated.
And Randy, the Flora walks in Flora, right?
Right. Yes.
You know, my daddy taught me very well. Don't let nobody walk up on you, period. And you always watch their hands.
Hey, Frank, will you please debunk this? Badass American says Snay says a juror stood up and shouted at Nick to let a person on the stand finish talking.
How the hell would he know?
It is completely
Yeah,
bullshit.
I know.
It is completely bullshit. I was in the fucking courtroom. It was when Luttrell was cross-examining Dr. Warren, the ballistics forensic scientist. And Luttrell would ask him a question, and this damn doctor, every time he would answer, he was given this long-ass theory or whatever you want to call it, and Luttrell kept saying, I just needed a yes or no answer. And then Luttrell turns to the judge and says, Judge, I just want a yes or no answer. Well, then Judge Gold went to Dr. Warren and just say a yes or no answer. And that's when Rosie fucking blurted out, just let him fucking answer. It was not a juror. Because if a juror would have had an outburst during that trial, she would immediately went to recess or took a break and removed that fucking juror from the fucking jury box and put an alternate in there.
I can't imagine a juror doing that.
That would
No,
be the dumbest shit they
they're
would ever
told they
done.
can't do that.
And especially because the defense did the same exact thing on a lot of the state's witnesses, and they never said a word. So I can't imagine that they would do it at the end.
No.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
Snay
Cody,
knows best.
I don't. They have to prove it was intentional murder. If they can't prove it was intentional murder, then it would be dropped down to second-degree murder. If it's intentional murder, that's first degree.
Well, how he had everything on him, it would be first degree.
Because he even admitted he had to kill them.
He brought a gun
And a knife.
Yep.
and a knife.
And who knows what else.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I still say that he brought stuff to restrain
Oh.
them.
Restrain them because their
Oh,
mouth.
Squeaky, that's not going to happen. If y'all can read that on the screen, that is not going to happen.
Why?
That's who Constantine, if you're reading the screen, that's who Squeaky's talking about.
Yeah, I have
I'm
no
reading
idea.
I'm reading chats, guys.
Yeah, kidnapping carries a certain life term.
Yeah, Rainbow Bright runs that Reddit channel. Oh, wrong one. Where'd it go?
Even so, Rainbow runs that Red Seeking Justice site.
On Reddit, yeah.
Purple hair?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know who it is, Teddy.
Oh, I know. I sat behind her quite a few times. I know who that is. There is nothing worse than having to sit on that side of the courtroom just so you can see things.
Oh, dude, we sat directly behind the family yesterday because they changed up the seating in the courtroom. They took away 8 public seating. So
You guys are soldiers. I don't know how you do it. Seems really bad now this last week.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
got
I'm
really
so
bad.
glad
dude.
I didn't choose to go this weekend rather than I'm glad I was there last
If I went,
weekend.
I would be sitting in the back, far back.
You say that until you can't see the screen.
I was just gonna say, I didn't bring my readers with me. I should have.
You know what pissed me off is I didn't even think about it, but I guess Russ McQuaid brought some binoculars.
Good
And
God.
yeah, I asked to borrow them, and he kind of gave me that look, that Russ McQuaid look.
He
That was a
brought
no.
binoculars.
Yeah, these like tiny pair of bird watching binoculars. I thought it was
Oh my
smart, but
God.
He was watching the
Opera
jury.
glasses.
yeah,
And everybody needs to remember when it comes to this case, Nick McClelland does not have to prove he killed them girls. All
Nope.
he has to prove is that RA was BG.
Yep.
And he was
That
the only
is
one
it.
there.
Because they know BG took him off the bridge.
Yep.
Ordered him down the hill.
Mhm.
yeah, he killed him.
He was the
definitely
only one
did.
there, and nobody saw him after
He
that.
you look into his eyes, he killed him.
Oh,
There's no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, especially if he was looking at when they had the girls up there on the TV.
Oh, don't even get me
will-
started. That shit pissed me off so bad.
Hey,
I'm
Teddy.
glad that I
enjoying
wasn't.
himself doing that.
I'm not the only one that thinks that his eyes are evil.
Teddy, question for you from CJK.
What's up?
What are some favorable things you saw in the courtroom?
I wouldn't say favorable.
Or wow moments or something that caught your attention?
There was a lot of small things that caught my attention. Definitely. So after the first 3 days that were really traumatizing, and then I was really pissed off because you're feeling all the emotions and you don't have time to process them.
Mhm.
Right.
I was sitting there and I was at the point where I could really just kind of dead stare to the front of the courtroom, and I was like, I'm gonna look at this asshole. I want him to look at me, and thankfully I was sitting right behind Kathy and Janice, so he was always trying to get their attention.
Right.
So I'd just sit there and stare at him, and his eyes would kind of shift over, and when he sees you, his eyes don't do the gymnastics that they
Right.
do when he's just looking up at the ceiling. You don't think his eyes can open any further, and then they do. It's like a telescopic lens. They just keep
Mhm.
going. But when he looks at you, he just looks at you. His eyes don't move, and he's always got that frown on his face. But people think he's scary, and he's really not scary. You can tell that he's a bitch.
Oh
You
yeah,
can
I don't
tell.
think he's scary that way. I just he has an unnerving look about him.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
look
Mhm.
that he gives you made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Well, that's because he's weird. Like that, and that's really truly what I think. He's a weird guy. He's
Mhm.
always been a weird guy. He even said it himself. He's a bitch. He said that he took their lives to preserve his own because he knew. I really do think he feels bad about what he did, but not because he did it, but because things got screwed up.
Mhm.
It went a different route than he expected.
He
Right.
was going to kill the girls right there on Weber's property, but until he saw that van.
Well, I think he was always going to kill him because you can't tell me if you go through all the trouble of covering yourself up like he did, and then
Yeah.
doing something in broad daylight. I think he was always going to kill him, but I think he thought that he was going to be able to do what he wanted to do first.
Right.
And
I
that was
think that's
probably
true. And I think he's the only thing that's upset Rick Allen is that he was caught.
Oh yeah.
I think that Rick Allen was able to go back and live his life because he's a psychopath. I mean, I believe that. I don't think they have the same kind of feelings. They don't.
I think with him, it's really weird, and I understand why people didn't necessarily look at him right away because he's the type of guy that waited until he was 45 or whatever he was, and he never had the balls to do anything like that before. I don't know what happened that day. I think it's really weird that he went to his mom's house to go and visit her while she was recovering from hip surgery or whatever it was.
And then didn't stay for lunch. Decided I got to fly back to Delphi and get on the bridge. What
Whoa.
the heck?
Well,
That's
well,
all that about.
And throw a 6-pack in between there. Throw a
Yeah.
6-pack down.
Well,
He
that-
even
it's
said-
kinda- it's
Go
kind
ahead.
of like he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
But that's the thing. Like it's not like I really don't think he's done anything like this before. I think all the stuff that he talked about molesting this one and that one, I think he said that because he always had that on his brain, but he never acted on it because he was too scared to do it. Whereas real crazy psychopath people, they don't care. They'll
He-
go and do what they got to do.
He just fantasized. That's what it was. He just
Right. Yeah, because that's all he could do. He never had the balls to make a move. And whatever it was that day, I don't know if it was because Kathy wasn't at home as much because was she taking care of Janice, right? Or was it
Yeah.
her mother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was taking care. Yeah, was it Janice or what? Well, she was taking care of her brother at one point in time, wasn't she? Then he died.
Yeah, and then afterwards, I thought that she was trying to help take care of Janice once she, had her hip surgery or whatever. But so she probably wasn't his home as much, and he's obviously very reliant on her and the other people in his life.
Mhm.
Right.
So he had
The
some extra
females in
time
his
to
life.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So He even said it, I think it was the interview on the 13th. The quote was when he was saying they were going to lunch, and he goes, "Yeah, I wasn't about that." I'm like, what do you mean you weren't about that? You weren't about going to lunch with your mom and your sister? Like, isn't that a normal thing to do? But what he was about was going to get a 6-pack of beer and, stalk people on the trails. That's what he was about.
I also think he's a narcissist, and I think he's super worried about what people think about him.
Oh yeah.
And you can see that by what he said and how, and I know it could be coincidence, but I go back to Carter saying, what are people going to think of you when they realize what you've done, to these 2 little girls?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of what Carter said in that press conference was because that was after they got the BAU report that crime scene was an undoing. And they realized that whoever it was that did that realized they fucked up.
Yeah.
And I had a big issue with the whole undoing thing. It didn't make sense to me until I found out where Abby's wounds were.
Right.
Because I didn't know at first. And then once I found out, those sticks were piled up on that side of her body. They weren't anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. To cover the wounds so he didn't see what he had done.
Right.
Yep.
So he had that moment of rage or whatever it was that he had. And then he went, oh, shit. His bravery or whatever you want to call it went away in that moment. And he said, shit.
Right.
So,
exactly.
And that's the type of person he is. That's why I want to know what happened that day. There had to be something that day for him to go out in broad daylight and try to do this. If you want to go out and try to nab somebody, you're going to try to do it at night when no one's around. You're not going to go to a public trail and just wait.
Robert, Abby was only slit one time, and it was her throat.
And it was very, very shallow. It was not a real deep cut.
It's called it was a partial transection of her jugular vein, which means that the jugular vein was cut enough to where she bled out slowly.
Mm-hmm.
No, Abby was not stabbed in the heart, too. She had one wound.
One wound.
Were any of you guys there the day of the autopsy stuff?
Yeah, I was.
No, thank God I wasn't.
Yeah, thank God you weren't.
Thank God I wasn't, Teddy. I don't know that I could have dealt with that.
And then I came back and did a live that night, and I had to have Kristen read everything. I couldn't do it.
Read it.
I couldn't. I couldn't even take notes that whole time. I started to, and then I stopped. I didn't even stay for the rest of the day. Like, I left after that. There was no way.
I was just gonna say I can't. I never wanted to see the crime scene photos. I never wanted to see any of that because I didn't want to think of the girls that way.
Yeah.
I only wanted to see them because I wanted to see exactly where they were.
Part of me wanted to see them. The sleuth part of me, so that I could have all the information.
But see, when it came to me, I'm glad I was in the courtroom, but I wasn't far enough to the right to see the actual photos and everything. But what I did is I basically closed my eyes and I was listening to Dr. Gore, because I'm pretty familiar with where the jugular is, the carotid artery and everything is. And when he was telling me all that, saying all that stuff in the courtroom, I was picturing everything in the neck and the wounds. And I got a visual in my head of exactly what he was talking about. I didn't need to see the autopsy photos.
Well, see, here was my experience with all of it. Because that first day, like, I went that first Monday. I was sitting right next to Frank, and we sat behind the families all the way over on the left in the back row, and we couldn't see anything. And it was really frustrating because they were going through the topography of the area. They had Jason Page with the pointer.
Right.
When you're looking at him with the pointer from our point of view, it looks like he's just stabbing it out in front of him. And you can't really see what he's doing. So I was trying to get all this information, but you couldn't see the screen. So I just stopped taking notes and just tried to listen and see what was going on.
Right.
So after that first day, when I realized where you had to be in that courtroom to see anything, that's when I started sitting on the defense side. And then the second day was the video, which I'm sick of hearing. If I hear one more fucking person say that video is not real, I swear to God, It's
And
driving
you
me
know,
insane.
you bring that up, Teddy. Sorry to cut you off, man, but fucking Rick Snay posted something on his
Fuck him.
goddamn community page talking about how he is apologizing to Cop Facts because he was saying Cop Facts was claiming that Abby's photo was photoshopped.
Yeah, he's
I'm
a
here
piece
to
of
tell
shit.
you right now that when was it? Nearly 3 years ago. No, actually, it was just
It
a year
was
and a half
not
ago.
Photoshop at all, and these people think it's.
I sent the photo to an expert myself, and he got back to me like 6 hours later. He said, "No, this photo is not photoshopped."
And they got
Well, look, you know what? Regardless of the photo, the video that I saw was not.
Right.
And
Mhm.
you know, at that point, it was the second day. I got there on Sunday. I left my house at like 4 a.m, so I was super tired. Didn't get a lot of sleep.
I
And
know
I
the
was so-
feeling. I did the same thing.
Yeah, so those first couple of days, I was still heavily caffeinated. I couldn't really feel anything, and we really weren't expecting to see the video. We walked in after a break, and we saw, you know, when you take a video on your iPhone, it's got the first, you
Sorry,
know,
guys.
frame of the video with the little play button on it, and we saw it on the screen when we walked in, and everyone's like, "Oh shit!" So we sit down. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm one of maybe 12 people of the public that's ever going to see this. And I thought they were just going to play it once. So it's surreal knowing that they're about to show it. And you're trying to figure out, like, how the hell am I going to get all this information in my head?
Right.
Mhm.
And,
And you're sitting there trying to write as fast as you can so you can get all the information that's being talked about in there, you know, and it's hard. And people
Yeah.
got to understand that. We can't get every piece of information out there that we want to.
we're not all
Yeah.
turbo.
Right.
We can't do that transcription style. I didn't even
Right.
write any notes in the beginning because I just wanted to watch it without interruption. And after that first playing, like, I really thought that I had everything down pretty good.
Right.
And then, you know, people were asking me, like, can you see him behind her right away? And I go, no. When they pan the camera up, all you see is Abby. I couldn't
Right.
see him at all.
Mhm.
And I thought that when you start to see him is when she walks forward a little bit and you can see him in the background, but that's not when you can see him.
Right.
If Libby didn't turn the camera the way that she did as she was turning, you wouldn't see him at all. Like, I was really surprised that the footage that they put out there of him walking, that's the only footage you have of him the whole video.
Really?
So, yeah, because it took me until they played it the second time, because the very first time they played it, I forget who it was up on the stand. I think it was the guy that analyzed the phone to begin with.
Cicero.
I think I gotta check my notes. I got my notebook right next to me.
But you know, what did you think of the enhanced audio video?
So that was the first time that I was kind of pissed off throughout the whole trial, because so they played the original video the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard guys down the hill, and then when they played it, I think it was after lunch the same day, they played it again, and I was sitting in the same seat, but I was sitting one row behind where I was before. It was the last row, and that time I could only hear guys. So that one row difference was all the difference it took to not hear the end of that. Just the way.
And you know what's so funny about that audio, that enhanced audio video? When you hear the girls talking, and then you hear Abby say, "Don't leave me up here," okay? And then a split second later, you hear Libby say, "That's a gun." And then a split second later, you hear Richard Allen say, "Guys." And that right there told me he was already up on them.
See, I didn't even hear that, because by the time they got to the enhanced video, which was, I think it was the day after, where they said, we're going to play this, and when we get to him, we're going to pause it, and we're going to zoom in, and then we're going to put a box around him. And I thought they were just going to freeze frame and they were going to stop the video.
Right.
They play that enhanced video is not meant to be played from beginning to end. That enhanced video is only to get the audio that you can't hear in the original because of how she's holding the phone close to herself with her hand over the microphone.
Right.
And it's to get the up close picture of Bridge Guy.
Right.
Right.
Because at first, and I don't want anyone to misconstrue my words because I know a bunch of people probably will. When I first saw that, I wasn't expecting it. And I thought it was a completely different video because they stabilized the camera.
Hi,
And
Maddie. How are you doing?
because you don't see the way that she turns the phone, it's just like the phone stays straight the whole time. You don't see the directions that she's turning. So everything's just kind of linear. And
Right.
it's really strange and disorienting. And I was really worried that the people that got into the courtroom that day were going to say that this was the original video when it wasn't.
Right.
So it was really disorienting to me. And it was the first time that I could make out two girls' voices. In the original, I only heard Libby's voice.
The original, I never heard the girls.
Well, in the original, the only thing that I can compare it to is it was like Libby was doing a live stream. She was
Right.
trying to pass it off like she was sitting there talking to herself, talking to her friends on her phone, and the video starts looking down at the bridge. She picks the camera up, and you just see Abby walking with her hands in her pocket still. She's looking down at the bridge, taking really calculated steps because she's not comfortable walking on the bridge.
Right.
You don't even notice the guy behind her. So you see her walking, and then Libby starts to turn right towards the path down the side of the hill. And that's when she turns the phone from vertical to horizontal. And that's when you get that angled shot of him walking behind Abby. And it's real
like
quick.
I said, when I heard the enhanced audio, and then when I heard Abby say, "Don't leave me up here,"
Breaks your
and
heart.
all of a sudden you hear him say, "Guys," and then you hear one of the girls say, "Hi."
See, I didn't hear hi. And that's something that I will keep saying because in both the enhanced and the original, one of my biggest questions was, why didn't they release guys with Down the Hill in the beginning?
Right.
And now I know, because the day they played the original video, they also had the person that enhanced it. And that day they only played the enhanced version of Guys Down the Hill. And literally right on top of Guys, you hear Libby go, "Oh," like she's scared.
Right.
Because he said something. And that's what I think happened, is she got spooked that he actually spoke to them. They probably thought he was going to turn around and go back the other way. He said "guys," and right on top of that one word is "huh." So it probably took them a while to take her voice out of that. So it was just his voice.
Well, there's one thing. Have you ever seen the original photo of BG?
Yes.
The very first one where you can just get the back part of Abby's arm in it?
Yeah, like the side of her jacket or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That right. Like I said, man, when I heard the enhanced audio and he said "guys," and then I heard, I believe, "hi," and he said "down the hill," that right, to me, that enhanced made me feel like he was a lot closer to them than what we originally thought.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because in the original, you hear him, but it's muted. It's not muffled, like there's no static behind it or anything. It's like she's got her hand over the microphone. You hear "guys." It's very clear, but it sounds like it's far away.
Right.
And you can tell, again, people will take that and twist it and make it sound like he's nowhere near them. But you have to consider how she's holding that phone so he doesn't see it. Yeah, it's weird. Like I said, when I heard the full enhanced version for the first time, I couldn't believe that I heard two girls' voices, because I didn't hear it at all in the original.
Teddy, you've heard it now, and you've heard it in court. Do you think that video and that voice is his?
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yes. And it's really weird. Go ahead, Frank.
I've actually heard him speak on numerous occasions. It'd be a word or two here and there. Because when we started having the pre-trial hearings, I would intentionally sit behind Kathy, because I knew if I intentionally sat behind her, I was going to get within not even a foot of Richard Allen, and actually get the actual look at him, his stature and everything. And he would stop right next to Kathy and say, "Hi, I love you." He did that several times. And then when I heard the enhanced, I said, oh, yeah, that's definitely him.
Yeah.
I could tell by the
Abby saying,
monotone he
"Don't
was
leave me up
using.
here," is just gut wrenching.
I'm so glad I didn't actually hear, like, I heard her talk, but I was so disoriented the first time that I heard the enhanced that your brain is so used to hearing it the way that it's played the first time that you're expecting that. So I heard a different voice, but I didn't hear exactly what she was saying. But listening, like, I know the guys down the hill so well, just like everybody
I
else.
think we all do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We've listened to it so many times.
Well, it's funny too, because when you listen to his interview from October 13th, and then I've heard a lot of people that either weren't there or even the news people, they talk about the difference in his voice between the 13th and the 26th. And in my opinion, the room that they were in on the 13th was a much bigger room, and the camera and audio was much lower quality than it was on the 26th.
Oh, you're talking about the one with
Holman.
No, Liggett.
Yeah, Liggett and Mullen on the 13th.
On the 13th.
Yeah.
That room was a lot bigger. Richard Allen looks a lot farther away. It's up in the corner of the room. On the 26th with Holman, the defense tries to make it out he was in such a small room. Well, what the fuck do you expect? You're in an interrogation. You should be in a small room. Grow up, bitch. Like, that is what it is. Multiple people have been in that room. It's fine. But the video and the audio was a lot clearer.
This is Tara.
Tara?
Yeah.
Good Tara or bad Tara?
Our Tara.
Oh, I got a story about her afterwards.
Hi, Tara.
I gotta send this to you. Hold on.
All right.
I gotta screenshot it. Hold on. Damn. Save image. All right, let's see. That didn't do it. Yes, I'm doing it, Tara. Just hold on.
Frank, you're acting like Susan right now, not knowing how to work the phone.
Don't you start on me now, Teddy.
I told her, I was like, girl, you need to go to Apple and have them give you a tutorial. How long have you had an iPhone? Holy crap.
All right. Kristen?
Yeah.
Check your text messages. And she asked, what else did she say? She said, delete that post, but family.
Did you send it to me?
Yeah, I sent it to your text.
Okay, it's here now.
Where is this? Whose Facebook group is that? Jinx. Oh, you're not in Facebook, damn it. Oh, it's on mine. What the hell? Who posted that on there?
What is it?
All right, give me a second.
Who proved it?
Oh, Lord. Deb.
Oh, boy.
All right, I got to make sure there's nowhere else in my Facebook group. All right, it's gone.
Oh, that's awesome.
Did you read? She said, please delete this from your Facebook group because the family has nothing to do with it.
Who put this out there?
I don't know.
And how did it get on your page?
Who proved it?
I don't want to say
Oh.
online at that. I don't want to do that in here.
Yeah, the family doesn't want it. So if the family doesn't want it, we don't do it.
Right. Listen, I had somebody approach me today. She's been close to the family too. I think I talked to you about this earlier, Kristen.
Yeah.
She wanted to do poster board. I understand her thought, guilty, whatever she wanted to put. But I told her, I said, man, then you're stepping to their level.
Yeah, you don't want to do. They don't want to do that. I
No.
get why they don't want to do that, and I understand why she wanted to do that.
Right.
But we need to
Oh.
follow. We need to before we do
Listen to
anything
what the
like that.
family wants are.
It's got to go through the family. You've got to contact the family and say, hey, we're thinking of doing this or we're thinking of doing that. And if they say no, then that's it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's texting me again.
Tara?
I think I know what you're talking about.
I just wonder if it's on my Facebook page.
Again, this isn't a circus and we're not trying to, you know what I mean? They don't
And
want
she
that.
perfectly said it right here. She said, thank you. We've come too far to mess us up. We appreciate them and what they want to do. However, I don't want it to come back on us, any of us.
Yep.
Agreed. And I think, remember when I was talking to you about that earlier?
Yeah, because they've already said that Becky was out there getting seats for people. That's not true.
I'm going to pause. I'm going to turn my mic off. I got to call this person to let her know.
Okay.
All right.
We'll keep it going. Yeah, so
right.
guys in the chat, so you know kind of what's going on, is just that somebody was wanting to kind of show big support for the families in a big way at the courthouse and around Delphi, and the family doesn't want that. So that's all.
That's good to know, because I pumped that a little bit as soon as I saw it.
Yeah,
I was like,
I agree. That should not be at the courthouse.
Yeah, you guys got to remember, this is bitter. I think I said this before. There's no winners here. Even if Richard Allen is found guilty, a whole family has been destroyed.
And they want
his
to
family.
move on. Yeah, they just want to move on.
Right. And so I don't think that they want to act like the winners. And I get that.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because you know how we feel, and I get it, because I do feel like that too. But people are going to want to shove microphones into these family members' faces when this verdict comes out. What is what are you thinking? How do you feel about the verdict?
Yeah, all the news reporters will go right up to them.
Oh my God. Do you know that they are camped out ready? They so badly want to talk to these family members to find out how
the
they
media
feel about
coverage
all of
down there
this.
today has doubled compared to what it's been.
Yep.
I was really shocked that they stopped after the first day. The first day that I was there, they were coming right up to the little I don't know what you call it, right there by the ramp. They were like, "Hey, I'm from ABC News. How long have you been here?" I was like, "Fuck off, go away."
Yeah.
World News. Yep.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Everybody, just pretend everybody took 12 hours to get here. You got your answer.
Yeah.
Unless you're somebody else, I'm like, this is not the time. Take a picture of the courthouse with everybody standing there and get your shot. But there are people that will certainly use it as their 15 minutes of fame.
Exactly. And that's what these bimbo scarecrows are doing right now. Teddy, I've got a name for all these fucking wackos. They're called scarecrows. And the reason why I call them scarecrow is because of the Wizard of Oz, the scarecrow didn't have a fucking brain.
Now, come on. It's my favorite movie. You guys
You're
don't
calling them
be picking on my
scarecrows
scarecrow.
because you have one person in mind. I know.
I've got the prop. I've got all them
Fuck
fucking
him.
idiots.
Fuck them all. They all got nothing to do but sit at their desk in their little piano room and put their hair back in a bun and talk shit on the computer.
I can't wait to see if there's a guilty verdict that comes down and this is all over with and there's fucking lawsuits slammed on every one of these fucking assholes.
Probably not, but I hope somebody punches them in the mouth.
I can see them going after them for telling
defamation, slander,
and especially going after them for.
No, they're not going to get anything. But the point of the matter is, you fucked with the wrong people, and that's going to follow you the rest of your life.
Those people don't have anything to give, even if they got brought up on charges. To be honest with you, I think everybody just wants it over.
Yeah, exactly.
I think somebody needs to punch each one of them in the mouth, get it over with, do what they should have gotten when they were kids that they obviously didn't get, and then everyone can move on. Then they
Right.
won't have the balls to keep talking shit like they do. 'Cause
But
that's
you
all they
know
do.
what's going to happen in the long run with this dude. They're still going to fucking continue it until the whole process is over, even the appeals process.
They'll be talking about it for years because they have nothing else to talk about. They won't
Right.
go on to another
No, exactly.
case.
They're not going to move on. I mean, it's going to be the same. Look at what's gone on with the John Bonet case. Obviously, that case hasn't been solved, but it's going to be the same. People are going to say, if he's found guilty, that there's going to be people out there that will make a living on this man was absolutely wrongly convicted. Look what happened to him. First time in the history of the state of Indiana that a pre-trial detainee was detained in prison. I mean, there's going to be so much written and done about all this, you guys.
Right.
Even if he's found guilty, I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep. But it'll be funny too, because if he's not found guilty, if it's a hung jury or with the
If it's
odd
a hung jury,
possibility-
man, we're going to fucking hear it big time, guys.
If he's found not guilty, he will sue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and he'll sue a whole lot.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And I didn't go live earlier, you guys. I did a video.
I saw that.
I just posted a video. But thank
Plug it.
you.
But hey, guys, we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's been another long day. I've got to get some sleep because I'm going to be at the courthouse at 8:30. And Kristen, I'm going to call you as soon as we're done because I've got something to talk to you about.
Okay.
oh boy, get some sleep.
Yeah, it's
buddy.
nothing bad, guys. Nothing bad at all.
All right. Well, top
Randy,
score here.
Patty, thank you for
Yeah,
both of you guys.
thanks for having me on. And Randy, it's always good to be with you. And
Yeah.
Teddy, it's great to see you again.
Yeah, exactly,
Absolutely.
guy. And everybody in the chat, thank you so much. I love all of you, all my mods. Y'all are great. Thanks for keeping up with the chat. And for Michelle Sawa, thank you for the donation to my Cash App. Until next time, I will be on live tomorrow from the courthouse, guys.
We're on jury watch, guys.
Yep, I'll be on jury
Keep
watch.
keep the families close.
And you guys see the post that Becky had posted everywhere. Please say a prayer for the jury for clarity.
I have already sent it on my page for praying for them.
Yep,
So,
absolutely. Good night,
Kristen,
guys.
Teddy,
All right, man. Get some
Randy,
sleep, man.
good night.
Good night.
And everybody, you know what time it is? Peace out. One love. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.